Hello, I'm Jesse Ainebiona, and I would like to welcome you to this video. Do you ever find that there are times when you struggle to build some good habits or struggle to break some bad ones? In case that is your challenge, the book that I'm going to be reviewing in this video will perhaps help to solve that puzzle. The book that I'm going to be talking about is a book that I've been studying over the previous month, and it has been one of the most insightful books for me on the subject of habit formation and behavior change. It is a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. James Clear writes very well and remarkably about the power of small changes in terms of making remarkable results. He provides a proven system that can help anybody to build good habits, but also to break bad ones. So let's dive in. This has been quite insightful, as you can imagine, but I'm just going to highlight 3 specific areas that I believe will be helpful for us. I hope you will find time to pick up the book and read it for yourself. But in my own personal study, 3 specific things stood out for me. The first was the power of tiny gains. Many times, we overestimate what we can do in a long time, yet we underestimate what we can do in a short time. James Clear makes an interesting analysis when he says that if you improve anything by 1%, after a period of 1 year, you will be 37 times better. While if you reduce or if you decrease anything by 1%, after a period of 1 year, you will end up almost down to 0. Now, it just shows you how small, tiny, seemingly insignificant changes can have a significant impact after a given period of time. That is how much our habits can impact our long-term results. In fact, he also mentions that habits are the compound effect of self-improvement. Why is that important? That is important because when you're putting in the 1%, you may not see any difference. Take, for example, if you work out one day, you stand in front of the mirror and not much has really changed. The thing is, when you keep on doing this little thing along the way and for a long time, it makes a significant difference. So the first thing that he makes very clear is the power of small incremental changes, as opposed to doing something once and you get done with it. Do something over and over and over. And again, like we have said, it calls for patience, because many times things will not change until they hit a certain critical threshold. If you think about the Chinese bamboo, when it is planted, for 5 years, there is no result, no sign of growth, nothing is coming out of the soil. For 5 years, can you imagine? Now, it is in the 5th year that the bamboo begins to come out of the soil, and within 6 weeks, it goes 90 feet. So you can imagine the effort going in there, but nothing much to show for it. That simply implies that our habits need patience and persistence. As we put in these small, tiny incremental changes, let us be patient, let us be persistent. Because at the end of the day, success is simply a product of daily habits, not once in a lifetime transformations. So that is the first thing. The second thing I would like to highlight briefly is the contrast between goals and systems. Now, James Clear makes a very interesting contrast between goals and systems. And he simply says that goals are the things we want to achieve, while systems are the strategies or the processes that we follow to achieve those outcomes. Goals are essential, no question about it. I am personally goal-oriented, and I love to work after some exciting goals because they provide the motivation, they provide the focus, and they provide the sense of direction. The challenge, however, and this is what he brings out in a very interesting fashion, the challenge is that many times you find that we pay attention to the goal, but we do not pay much attention to the systems, to the methods, or to the processes that are going to lead us to the realization of those goals. Now, as a result, many people have goals, but they don't achieve them. In fact, he says both winners and losers have the same goals. So the issue is not the goal. Many people have goals. The issue is that we have neglected the systems. We pay more attention to the goal and less attention to the system. He also makes a very profound statement when he says that we do not rise to the level of our goals. Rather, we fall to the level of our systems. So it's not the goals, but it is the systems that really matter. Because if you have a goal and you have no system to get to that goal, at the end of the day, it will not make a difference, because goals are good for achieving results, but systems are necessary for continuing to play the game. He says, for example, that the purpose of setting a goal is to win the game, but the purpose of building systems is to continue playing the game. So the goal may not be to read a book and finish it. Rather, the goal is to become a reader. The goal may not be to run a marathon and win it. No, the goal is to become a runner. The goal may not be to lose weight. The goal is to become health conscious. So you look at it in the contrast between the goal and the system, and it will help you to realize that goals are necessary, but systems are equally as essential. And that brings me to the third thing, because then the question you're asking probably is, so how do I build good habits and how do I break bad ones? He recommends 4 laws that I'm going to run through quickly. And the first is, when you're building a good habit, the first place to start is make it obvious. This simply means that if you can, for example, if you indicate it on your calendar or you set a reminder, you make it as obvious as possible, because out of sight is out of mind. If you do not see it before your eyes, chances are that you will not even think it. So for starters, for whatever habit it is that you want to adopt, put it in front of you. Make it possible for you to see it, because if you can see it, then you can do something about it. The second thing that you can do to build good habits is make it attractive. So simply make it attractive for you to want to do it. And again, a good place to do this is choose your association carefully, because the people that we hang around should be people that have got the behavior that we want to adopt. So choose your association so that it is possible, it is attractive for you to follow through on a certain habit. The third is make it easy. That is important, because many times we begin big, and because we begin big, it is almost difficult and impossible to sustain the habit that we are trying to acquire. So make it easy. And a pretty easy way to do this is to simply start with your environment. You know, many times we underestimate the power of our environment in terms of behavior change. He writes and says that disciplined people are not people with great self-power. Disciplined people are people who have learned to discipline their environment. Many times we want things because they are an option. So let us not become victims of our environment. Rather, let us become the architect of our environment. A simple way to make it easy is to simply, for example, if you want to drink more water, put water in a water bottle and simply move with it. It will become easy for you to drink that water. If you want to read a book before you go to bed, put the book on the table so that when you wake up in the morning, you find it easy to just get on to reading the book, because you know what you're going to read. You know, find a way to make your new habits easy. And at the same time, if you want to break a bad habit, make it difficult. So for example, if you don't want to watch certain programs, don't subscribe to them. Or if you want to save money and it is difficult for you, you can put in place a standing order so that as soon as money drops into your account, immediately it just goes before you even hold it. So make it easy. And the fourth thing that he talks about in order to build good habits is make it satisfying. Why? Because when a habit is satisfying, when it is rewarding, you'll find that it is easy for you to do it over and over and over again. So that is how you build good habits. That's how you break bad ones. I want to encourage you to read that book, because I believe that it will help you to understand how you can acquire good habits, how you can use the power of habit to transform your life. Remember, the quality of our lives depends on the quality of our habits. So by improving our habits, we can improve the quality of our lives. Pay attention to your habits and your life will begin to change. Thank you for watching and subscribe to this channel. We shall continue to review certain things that I'm learning, insights on lessons that I believe will help you to become a better version of yourself.